Welcome to the Dillweed Society Film Podcast. My name is Max, and my favorite movie is Lupin III and the Castle of Cagliostro.
Is that a movie? I thought that was a TV show.
No. Okay, there's a TV show called Lupin III, but the Castle of Cagliostro is a movie episode of it, or it's like a movie adaptation.
True. Hi, my name is Isabella, and my favorite movie is Moneyball.
What kind of Aaron Sorkin?
Listen. I was just going through my top 100, and it stood out to me. I like the cover. Who is that, Brad Pitt?
Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill?
Jonah Hill.
I never finished that movie. I liked it from what I saw, but it was like...
We watched it all the time as a kid.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
Moneyball?
Yeah.
What do you think happens in Moneyball?
It's the baseball movie.
Okay, there's a lot of baseball movies. What do you think happens in Moneyball? What is it about?
What? Why are you quizzing me on my favorite movie?
I don't think that the Moneyball that you remember is the actual Moneyball
with Brad
movie.
Pitt?
With Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point.
Anyway, how you been? What was your dream? You had a weird dream last night. So did I.
I had a weird dream. I just had a weird dream that I had a lot of stuff to do.
Well, that's accurate, I feel like, to your life.
Cheers.
Yeah, I had a weird dream last night where there were, like, these ostrich babies that I had to find, and then some wolves came and then ate them. Anyway, that was my weird dream. It was, like, prehistoric times. It's a whole thing. How have you been? It's been, like, a week, I guess.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of movies. Not necessarily a ton that came out this year, but I did watch, like, I think 3 this week.
Okay, word.
I have one that I want to recommend that came out in 2019. It's this movie Ongaku. It's about a gang at a high school that wants to start a band, and so they, instead of like beating people up, they start a band.
Word.
It's really funny, but it's like very humorous. And a lot of the art I think is rotoscoped, which is really interesting. Like it gives it a very unique character in animation.
Yeah.
Which sort of
cool.
Yeah, transitions us into this week. But what have you been watching lately? How have you been?
I've been all right. My glasses broke, so I have to become a new person now. What have I been watching? I rewatched Grand Budapest Hotel recently, which is always a great watch. I'm like in winter class right now, so I have to watch a bunch of movies. I finally watched The Watermelon Woman, which has been on my watch list for literally like 3 years.
Everyone recommends that to me.
It's a great movie. I actually have to write an essay about that today, so wish me luck on that.
This week we're talking about Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, which is important to note because there are 2 Pinocchio movies that came out last year.
I know. I wonder if he had to put his name on it for that reason. Because Disney released their Pinocchio. Like, they re-released it, I guess, to, like, keep their, like, rights to the story. You know how they have to do that? I don't really know what's up. And then wasn't there also a Pinocchio that, like, people were talking about on TikTok where the Pinocchio is voiced by, like, a twink?
Oh, my God.
Remember that?
Oh, my God, yeah. Oh, my... I want to explore the world, Father.
I don't know why there's so much Pinocchio content this year.
It's called Pinocchio, A True Story.
Yeah, but today, we're talking about Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, which is one of the most, like, everyone was, like, anticipating. It took him, like, 10 years to make it. If you don't know Guillermo del Toro, you probably know his other films. Pan's Labyrinth is, like, one of his most famous. Shape of Water. Uh-huh. So, like, he's been working on, like, he's been creating such great, films, all while still working on Pinocchio.
Yeah.
And I think that's interesting. His most recent one was Nightmare Alley, which came out last year, or, like, 2021.
No.
Which I didn't love.
His most recent production is Cabinet of Curiosities, which came out 2022. That's a short series.
That's a TV show. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a number of like short TV shows basically. And he didn't direct all of them. I think he just produced the show. So he does the Rod Serling intro to every episode where he's like, some people might think that life is difficult, but for one woman, she figured out a way to make it not that way.
All right.
Unluckily, it wasn't as easy as she thought it would be when she had no problems. And then it's like, okay. I present the woman in the gray hat.
Yeah. All right. Anyway.
It was really good.
I think his most famous or like most critically acclaimed is Shape of Water, because that won Best Picture in 2017, or like the 2018 Oscars, which I didn't love that movie, but I think they gave it to him for his work that he's done with other, like, in the past, because he is a very influential director. But this film, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, it's co-directed by him and Mark Gustafson. I'm going to give you all a synopsis, although I'm sure you know the story of Pinocchio. During the rise of fascism in Mussolini's Italy, a wooden boy brought magically to life struggles to live up to his father's expectations. What did you think? What were your overall thoughts, Max?
I liked this movie a lot.
Yeah?
Honestly, I wish it was more... Like, it leaned into adult themes in a way that I don't think has been done by any of the other, like, Pinocchio reboots, but kind of was true of the original Pinocchio. You know? Like, where he goes to work in the Disney original Pinocchio. Like, that was a very dark movie in a way that this was.
Yeah.
At parts. But I wish it had leaned further into that. That was, like, my overall... And I liked the historicism of the show.
Me too. I really liked that, yeah. I watched this movie twice. The first time I watched it just while, like, doing my homework. And then I rewatched it with our parents, actually. And... Because they really wanted to watch it. Yeah. And Mom loved it.
I bet
Mom, she adored... I mean, so did Dad as well. But Dad was like a minute into the movie, he was like, I know this is going to make me cry. Like, I know this is going to be a sad movie. And it was only on that second watch that I really, like, grasped how depressing this movie is.
Yeah.
Which is funny, because it's a kid's movie. Like, it's so-called kid's movie. Just because it's I think, a children's folktale. But I think... I love those old, like, folktales that, like, still... have so much, you know, intense adult themes. Or, like, people call them adult themes, but it's just, like, living life, basically.
It's like a human...
Trauma.
Yeah, drama.
Yeah.
I said drama, you said trauma. I think they're both kind of right. Yeah.
Yeah. The animation, beautiful. If you have seen this movie and you haven't seen the behind the scenes, like, 30-minute expose on this film showing, like, how they made it, I totally recommend you watch it. It's also on Netflix, which this film is on Netflix. But
I didn't see that.
You should. It's crazy how much work goes into it, because it's stop motion. So it takes them, like, so long, and they have to design each character, like, hand carve. It's so beautiful. Everything is, like, so perfectly done. I don't know. You know what I mean?
I think this was, like, one of the most beautiful animated movies I've seen in a while, in terms of its, like, total artistic direction and competence of production. I think it's like flawless. And there's a lot of things that technically seem like they would have been really difficult, like all the underwater stuff, for example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or the way that when the guy swings his sword, when there's like a trail behind his sword that means that, like, it had to have been, like, constructed out of clay or out of something to show, like, the movement, the, like, action movement of the sword that normally you would just draw. The lighting in this movie is just crazy.
It's beautiful.
It uses the medium really well, because in other animation, like, it's very hard to do consistent lighting that's moving all the time. It's a lot of work. Whereas here, like, it's sort of a natural byproduct of the medium, and they use that to a good advantage. What did you think?
I think this is definitely a shoo-in for Best Animation, both at the Oscars, and I'm not going to say the Dillies, but it seems pretty obvious. I know a lot of people who I've talked to who are Dillweed Associates are actually fighting for this for a Best Picture nom, which we'll see if that turns out. But, yeah, I will say I didn't realize that this film was going to be a musical. I thought the music was fine. Like, in my opinion, like, it takes a lot for me to enjoy a musical, like, children's musical, because oftentimes I feel like it is too on the surface, you know, where I think there's a lot more below in terms of themes. But, you know, this film the composer was Alexander Desplat, who's great.
I could tell.
Yeah, you can tell. You can always tell. Like, you know how you can tell, like, a John Williams thing? Like, I was watching Empire of the Sun the other day, which is a Spielberg movie, right? But something about it, like, I could tell it was a Spielberg movie because of his cuts and like the way he uses his camera. But then I heard the music, I was like, that's John Williams, right? And you know, that pairing works so well together. Same way you can tell Alexander Desplat.
It's like Damien Chazelle and Justin Horwitz.
Also, I think the acting in this movie I was very impressed by and surprised. I didn't realize that it was Ewan McGregor until like halfway through, voicing the cricket.
Yeah.
And I only know Ewan McGregor from Down with Love, in which he like sings and he plays like a slimy like businessman. Right, like we were watching the credits and like it would just show name after name and we'd be like, whoa,
right,
Tilda Swinton,
Christoph Waltz, Ron
Finn
Perlman,
Wolfhard, John Turturro.
Oh, I didn't catch that John Turturro was Tom Kenny is in it.
Yeah, dude.
Tom Kenny,
right?
as in SpongeBob. Tom Kenny.
Yes.
Who does he play?
Mussolini, dude.
Tom Kenny plays Mussolini.
He plays a few people, but yeah.
Mussolini and Right Hand Man and Sea Captain. Okay.
Yeah.
Il Dottore. Who voices Spezzatura? Kate Blanchett voices Spezzatura.
The monkey.
That's perfect. Yeah. Good for her. Kate
Good for her.
Blanchett can do anything she wants. She's great in everything. I thought the voice acting for Spezzatura was great.
I was creeped out by the monkey, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't like it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, Finn Wolfhard voices Candlewick.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Pinocchio as a whole.
The movie or the story?
Just like a wooden boy, the story.
Oh.
It was never like one of my favorite Disney ones. I didn't really understand it. I respect it.
What do you think made people like it? Like what is so historically, or like what is so good about the story that people like really enjoyed it? We had the audiobook of it when we were younger. I remember that.
Yeah, I think it captures like grief in a really interesting way, in a way that I was unbothered by as a child.
Yeah, it's very magical, obviously,
Yes.
and that's exciting and interesting, and sort of like learning about
The one scene I did like, sorry to interrupt, the one scene
Yeah,
I
that's
did
okay.
like when I was a kid was the whale scene. I loved that. Because I think it reminded me of Flapjack,
Yeah.
and I love Flapjack. So,
But I think parents like it because it's really like every chapter is like a lesson about what not obeying your
for sure.
parents does, you know?
Yeah.
Like when he gets conscripted into the military and like
does the original one have that scary puppeteer?
yeah, no, I mean it's not a puppeteer, I think. He gets like ripped off by a fox and like a wolf, I think. And
I thought it was a puppeteer. I thought there was a puppet.
there is.
Sorry. In this one, it's the circus, right?
Right, and there is a circus in the original, but this Il Volpe means fox in Italian, or like I don't know. It's like there's a Latin root meaning fox, so it's like a mix of two stories from the original story. You know.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's a folktale, so there's like, of course, many stories.
I don't think that there's any huge revelations or puzzles in the movie. That are worth sort of puzzling through. It's just a very enjoyable, not only childish, but not only adult animated movie. I think it's really good. I wish that they had removed some of the more childish stuff, like specifically
Like
the running joke where the cricket starts singing a song and then gets cut off.
Yeah.
I thought that was
It was funny at once.
Yeah.
It's a great film for literally everyone, I think. Whether you are in it for the technical stuff, which I think I was mostly, whether you're in it for the story, like there's something that you can pull from it, and it's enjoyable no matter how you watch it. What would you rate this movie?
3 to 3.5.
Okay, sure.
I don't know.
I rated it a 4, because I thought it was really like a masterpiece in terms of animation alone. So I really liked
Technically,
that.
it was really good.
Yeah, I was reading reviews by my Letterboxd friends. Caleb literally says, "This is a very sweet movie, but have we ever considered that Geppetto just might be a bad father?" Which, no, I don't think he's a bad.
I don't think he's a bad father at all.
He's going through grief.
No empathy. I have a question for you.
Sure.
Do you think that Pinocchio looks like Andrew Garfield? in this movie.
Ew, no.
No, yes, look it up. I'm going to show you
Huh.
2 pictures. It's specifically his smile looks like Andrew Garfield's smile.
We'll put a poll up. Okay, you're so right. You're so right.
Once I saw that,
so good.
I couldn't unsee it.
Yeah.
That was my
Bro,
one
have you seen all the Andrew Garfield
take.
stuff?
I haven't
Did you
seen
see?
anything. I'm not on Twitter.
Did you see? Okay, but did you see his interview on the red carpet with the chicken shop girl?
I did see that.
Oh my god, bro! Because their first interview, I saw this tweet. It was like their first interview is before sunrise, and their second interview is before sunset. And I was like, that's so true.
When's their after midnight moment? I hope that's not.
When's their after midnight?
That's kind of
Their
a sad.
chemistry though. Their
It's
chemistry.
perfect. It'd be kind of
Listen.
sad if I don't know. Don't you think? Like it's kind of low stakes. There's not a lot of development.
Yeah, because they're not like actually seeing each other. Also, she's just like very charismatic.
Exactly.
If you haven't seen that interview, I highly recommend you go watch it because it is something else. Anyway, so that's Pinocchio. Now we're gonna get into our recommendations, I believe.
Yeah. So I don't have a recommendation, but I have a movie that I want to watch that I'm going to talk
Okay.
about.
I thought you saw a bunch of 2022 what recently.
No, the only one from 2022 I saw this week was Pinocchio.
Pinocchio.
The
Okay.
other one that I saw was Ongaku, which is a big recommend on my part, but did not come out in 2022. The movie that I'm really excited to see, that I haven't seen yet, is Babylon.
Listen, I am wary of people recommending that movie without seeing it. I haven't seen it. I want to see it. I'm worried about it though.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah, I
people
agree.
It's the new Damien Chazelle movie, who he did La La Land and Whiplash and First
And
Man.
he did First Man, which was a total dud.
Yeah. So I think people are really curious about it. I personally, First Man was a dud, but I think Damien Chazelle, like he's really riding this train of like Hollywood, like elitism in his films. And I think, I want him to be knocked down a few pegs. I want this film to tank. Like I need it. I need him to not be an annoying Ivy League film bro. Which in my
Because he
head,
was at
that's
his
what he
best
is.
in his first 2 movies.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think the
And-
budget was for this?
For Babylon,
Yeah, 78
100
million.
million. Okay.
78 million.
I mean, for the actors alone, bro.
Which is crazy. I imagine its advertising budget was like a lot lower than would be normal for that, because I didn't see like any advertising for this really. I saw like posters for it and that was it. And it's such a dud. But guess how much Whiplash was? It's in its budget.
Whiplash, I could see at like a cool 15 million.
It was 3.3 million.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that his best movie was like 1/15.
That tends to be the case.
The budget. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm wary about it. I'm very eager to see it, though. That one and The Fabelmans, I think, are in the same boat for me. Because they're both, like, front runners for Best Picture.
You think so? The Fabelmans?
Fabelmans for sure is. I think people are really hyping it up. The only other 2022 movie I watched was The Pale Blue Eye, which it's on Netflix. It's got Christian Bale in it. But it's boring as shit. So it does have the guy who played Dudley in Harry Potter as Edgar Allan Poe, which is interesting. But the movie isn't. So Harry Melling.
Harry Melling. Harry Melling. Oh,
He looks like a British dude.
he does look British.
His eyes are way too close together.
Yeah, he was in The Queen's Gambit with Anya Taylor-Joy, and it was like the
Okay.
furthest distance between eyes in any
Oh,
cast.
so true. I love when that happens. All right. Well, I guess that wraps up our pod. As per usual, go to our website, dillweedsociety.com, because then you can sign up to be associate. And also there's a link to submit your nominations, which you have until Sunday, January 29th. We'd love to have you all participate.
Submit your noms.
Submit your noms.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Nice potting.